Now, if you are looking at something in the district line and you don't want to pay a hefty amount for the premium, then Rivergreen may be the project that you are looking for. Okay, so in this video, I want to show you this project called Rivergreen, and this is the reason why many people are also looking at this project. And the reason is very simple, because if you compare with the launches around this area, right, in terms of the quantum, in terms of the affordability, Rivergreen presents a very good chance for people who wants to get in this area, right, District 9. And for Rivergreen, let's start looking at the price chart, the indicative price, okay? So the one bedroom starts from 1.2, okay, and then the two bedroom starts from 1.5, two bedroom premium starts at 1.72, three bedroom starts at 2.25, and four bedroom starts from 2.8. Okay, so again, the reason why I show you this is because I don't want to waste your time. I think this is one of the very most important thing when people look into a property market, because we all understand, right? You need to understand that, you know, your budget, you can afford it, then you can start looking at the rest of the things, right? So I want to show you this. The next thing I want to show is I want to compare the price with the recent new launch around this area. Okay, so to make it easier, this is like a summary of what's happening, what will happen in recent weeks, months. Okay, so you can ignore this four project for now. Although this Zion Grand is, you know, coming up very soon, in October, right? I can tell you it's also not going to be cheap. Okay, so if we compare, you know, one beta, right? 1.2 million for Rivergreen, and if you look at the rest of them, right, the closest we get is gonna be Robertson Opus 1.37. If we were to look at two bedroom, right, 1.5, the closest we get is Promenade Peak 1.8. Okay, and if we were to look at three bedroom, right, 2.25, the closest we will get is again Promenade Peak, right, 2.7. And then if we were to look at four bedroom, 2.8, the closest we get is over here again, Promenade Peak 4.4. Okay, so for some people, you know, to understand, this is in District 3, right? It's basically very close. You can walk, you can cycle. Both of them are actually very close, right? The next close one would be over here, another District 3, Zion Grand. Now, the pricing is as such is because of the size. You got to understand this also. In terms of PSF, it may be slightly pricier than other projects, and that's because with that balance of the size plus the PSF, you get this kind of quantum. Okay, so you need to understand. Although many people will look at PSF, but you think about it, when you go to the bank and you want to take a loan, the bank doesn't care about the PSF. They only look at your income, how much you can loan, and they present it to you, whether you want to take it or not. And before you go to the bank, you already can make calculations to budget, you know, whether you want to take up that particular unit or not, right? So this is something that you need to work out. And if you are somebody who really wants to get into this area, then you can continue looking at this project, because this is also something that you don't want to miss for the range or the budget that you can get in. Okay, right? So just to show you quickly again, right, it will start somewhere around 2.8. Okay, if we were to look at the pricing over here. Okay, so just want to quickly show you this disclaimer, all right, and then we can move on. And let's take a look at the project information, right? Something basic. So we are looking at a total of 524 units, okay? And we are looking at 150 bicycle lot, okay? Parking, where is parking? Okay, so we have 269 for the parking. And if we were to do this, right, this parking lots over here, you have to take note, it's slightly smaller, okay? It's only like 51% of the number of units over here. And the reason is very simple. For this, the developer is anticipating, because of the size, right? Most people may be renting it out, right, as an investment. So there isn't a need for too much of the parking lots. And this is the reason why, okay? Okay, so over here, we are looking at one block of 36 story, okay? Two level of basement car park, okay? And you're going to get your swimming pool, tennis court, okay? Later on, we will go through, right? So this is basically what you're going to get for this project. Okay, and for developer, this is basically by Wing Tai. Okay, so just to show you some perspective of this place, right? If you look at the plot of land, right, later on, it is quite a longitudinal, a longish one, right? just one block of development over here. The rest is going to be the facilities. Okay, so the arrival hall, again, part of the facilities, right? More to the south area. 50-meter lap pool, right? Clubhouse and gym. Dining room, right? Cook and connect. Your gym, your fitness studio, a wellness zone, tennis court, and the lobby. And not to mention the sky garden, right? So if you look at the floor plan over here, right? I think this is what most people will look out for, which is the swimming pool and the tennis court. Okay, so some of those things that most people may use will be like, for example, the gym, the fitness studio, the dining room, some of the places that you can book and rest and relax over there, right? These are all around this area. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, and just for you to know, right, there is side gate where it will link you to your Great World MRT. Okay, and then there is another side gate over here. Okay, so two side gate. So number 8 is this one over here, right? Number 1 is this one over here. Okay, so some of the views that you're going to get from this development. So basically, this is your north. Okay, so to the south, right, which is this one over here, right? This is the river view. It's 126 meter to the Trillium. Okay, and then to the west, okay, this is the Great World view. This is 87 meter to Cosmopolitan, right? And to the north view, this is the Orchard view. This is 110 meter to Rivershire, okay? And to the east, okay, this is the MBS view, and this is 65 meter and 87 meter, okay, to Yong An Park, right? Okay, so this is what the north view will look like, okay, the Orchard view. Okay, this is the south view. Okay, and this is the Great World City view. And then the MBS view. Okay, so quite spacious. You won't get something so close to you, right? And then next would be the unit mix and the maintenance fee. So what you can see over here, right? Like many other projects lah. Okay, the emphasis is mostly around 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. Right? That's where the demand is lah. Okay, and then yeah. So in terms of the number of units breakdown, is basically over here lah. Okay, so about 105 1-bedroom plus 1-bedroom study. Okay, and then 245, right, for the 2-bedroom premium, 35 for the 2+ study, right, 104 for 3-bedroom, 35 for 4-bedroom. Okay, and like other projects, because of the share value, okay, and this is basically the breakdown of the maintenance fee. Right, for this development, right, something that you want to take note also, the entire block is basically elevated, right? So this is like 16 meters away from the first story deck, okay, or the street level, okay? So yeah, your second story is right about maybe third floor story already compared to other projects, okay? So most of the right, the ceiling height, right, this is for typical one. Only for the 36 story, this is the difference. Okay, so I'm not going to read out. You can just take a look quickly. Okay. And then for your provisions, right, you're going to get Vizuk, you're going to get lip hair, right? You're going to get Jesse, you're going to get Villeroy and Bosch. Okay. And for the 1 and 2-bedroom, you're going to get more of the cool scheme. And for 3 and 4-bedroom, you're going to get the warmer scheme. Okay. Right, in terms of fittings, this is what it's going to look like, right? Right, as mentioned earlier on, developer is Wing Tai, and previous projects, right, M Residences, Lake Residences, and Lenovel, Ardmore. Okay, this is basically by Wing Tai, right? And the architect, right, we have P&T, which is in charge of One Marina Gardens, the Continuum, and Grand Dunman. And then interior design index. Okay, so you can see quite luxurious feel as well. Okay, and the landscape architect. Right, so if you're not aware, let me show you with Google Map. Okay, so basically, this is the parcel of land, okay, which is over here. The show flat unit is over here, okay, quite close. So if you are dropping by the show flat unit, you can just walk towards this area, right, towards the Great World, and you should be able to see this, okay, right. And let's move on. Right, let's take a look at the floor plan. Right, so one bedroom, right, 420 square feet, okay. So very similar to many others project, you will realize, very standard, very no funny layout, okay. Okay, so coming in from the door, you get a kitchen, and then dining, living, balcony, and then on the right side is basically your master bedroom and your master bath, okay. And this is the second type of one bedroom, right. So if you were to see, right, very minimal differences, right, in terms of, you know, a little bit of the length and a little bit of the width, right, it's basically the difference lah. But the layout is roughly the same, right. And then this is one bedroom plus study, okay. So study room over here, okay. So coming in, right, your kitchen, dining, living, balcony, and then this would be your master bedroom, right. So especially for investors, or, you know, for young couples or single, one bedroom and one bedroom plus study, right, will be something that you may, you know, want to take a look at, right. Very efficient, very productive layout, right. This is the two bedroom, one bath, okay. And this is also the show flat unit. This is at 527 square feet, right. So coming in, right, kitchen, right, dining, living room. So this is like a dumbbell layout lah, okay. It's just that this is a smaller unit, right. There's no toilet over here, right. So master bath, master bedroom, and then your common bedroom, okay. So something that you want to take note for this development over here, right? The balcony is not really like a rectangle, squarish for some uh, unit type. Okay, you will realize that there's a little bit of slant, right, for some of the balcony. You see later on. Okay, right, and this is another type for two bedroom and bath. Okay, very similar layout. Right, again, like you see the balcony even more slant over here. Okay, so for you to take note, right, if you are trying to make use of the space in the balcony. And certain ones, yes, there will be the more rectangular, more squarish kind of layout lah. Okay, and then yeah, so this is two bedroom premium. This is also the another show flat unit, right? And this is at 603 square feet, right? And this is the very common dumbbell layout. So coming in, right, kitchen, and then dining, living, common room with the shared common toilet, right? So this is the common room, right? This is the master bedroom, right? Again, good thing if you are looking at investment and renting it out, that just means that, you know, this is like an ensuite already for this and this, right? You can rent it to two separate tenants, okay? And then this is another layout for two bedroom premium, okay? So kind of like the dumbbell layout lah, okay? Right, so coming in from the door, kitchen, dining, living, balcony, right? This is the common one, okay, and this is the master bedroom, right? And this is the two bedroom plus study, and this is going at 657 square feet, right? So coming in, you get not just the kitchen, you also get the study, all right, and then your dining, living, and balcony, okay, and then yeah, like your usual two bedroom lah. And this is the good thing is that they get the ensuite lah, okay. And for three bedroom, right, this is going at 786 square feet, right? So again, you take a look at this, the balcony design is as such, okay. And then from here on, this is where you get your home shelter, okay, coming in from this, right, home shelter over here, kitchen over here, then your dining and living, okay. So common bathroom over here, okay. And then for three bedroom, you realize that this usage of space is very well thought lah, okay. It's not the longish type, right? So common bedroom over here, common bedroom over here, and then you get your master bedroom here, okay. And then this is the second type, right? So coming in, right, a longer foyer, right? You get a kitchen, and then over here is a home shelter, right? Then similarly, dining, living, balcony, Okay, again, balcony, right? And then over here, right, you get your bedrooms, right? Common bathroom over here, master bedroom over here. Okay, and this is the third layout, right? Going at 883 square feet. Okay, so same thing, longer foyer, right? Then you get your kitchen, okay, home shelter, okay, and then you get your dining, living, balcony, right? Again, balcony, yeah. All right, so very similar layout, just that the size is slightly bigger, lah. Okay. Then this is our 4 bedroom. This is also the show flat unit. Okay, this is going at 980 square feet. Right, very similar to your 3 bedroom. Okay, longer foyer, right? Then your kitchen, home shelter over here, and then your dining, living, and balcony. Okay, right. So something to take note. There's an option to include, right, or not. Okay, so this is for you to take note. Yeah. Right. So very similar layout to many other development. Right. Very useful, very efficient, very productive. No wastage of space. Okay. Right. So in terms of connectivity, okay, and this is something that this project is very proud of, lah. Okay, because to connect to the MRT is really just like 30 steps away. You really, this is a stone throw away basically. Okay, so fully sheltered, right? Walk to MRT. Okay, fully sheltered walkway to Great World. Okay, and then from here it's 1 stop to Orchard, 4 stops CBD, 5 stops to MBFC, 5 stops to Ophir Rochelle corridor. Okay, so in terms of buses that you can take, right? So basically with all these services, you can get to the north, you can get to the east, okay? You can get to Chinatown, SGH, not a problem, right? And like I mentioned earlier on, MRT connectivity, going to different areas from Great World is not a problem, right? And in terms of amenities, right, because Great World is just beside and Orchard is so near, you know what you're going to get, okay? And in terms of school, okay, right, this is 1 kilometer, right, within, you will get your River Valley Primary, okay, and then Alexander Primary. Okay, within 2 kilometer, okay, you get Zhangde Primary, ACS Junior, St. Margaret Primary. Okay, and nearby education, right, you have Singapore Girls School, you have SOTA, you have SMU, you have Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, you have LaSalle College of Arts. Okay, these are not too far away, right? So near this area, right, you're gonna get Kim Seng Park, you get Fort Canning Park, you get Botanic Gardens, you get Gardens by the Bay. Okay, I mean closest is Kim Seng Park. The rest you will have to take MRT to reach those areas. Okay, so in terms of how much they bought this plot of land, okay. So basically this is Rivergreen, this plot of land over here, bought it at 1325. Okay, compared to Promenade Peak, slightly more pricier. Okay, compared to Zion Grand, also more pricier. Okay, and compared to this parcel B, is slightly cheaper. This parcel C not sold yet. Okay, we don't know how much, but definitely gonna be more expensive. Okay, and then we have Robertson Opus. We don't know the land price because it's not announced to the public at all. Okay, but you can just compare to this lah. Okay, like I said again, this is starting at 2865 if you were to take 1.2 for 1 bedroom. Okay, and many others that is starting at this price, right? Okay, so something that you also want to take note, right? For the longest time, right, CCR area, okay, has always been at the top of the chart, right? Followed by RCR, and that gap over there is always quite big and quite huge. And this has never come, right, as close as this present moment. I don't think we're going to get this, anytime next time, right? This is that overlap that we see in CCR and RCR, right? RCR has been increasing in terms of their pricing drastically, right? To the point where it is overlapping with the CCR already. Okay, so if you were to look at this, and if the CCR is going to go back, right, according to this chart, right, easily, right, it is supposed to be at the 35, 36, 37 area. So, just imagine where you are getting in, which is around 28, right, and where that potential can go to. Okay, so yeah, another chart to show you the differences that has been happening for the longest time, right? We can just take even like 10 years ago, right? 2025. You see that the gap has always been there. But now we are here. Okay, so there is a very high chance that this is going to bounce back based on supply and demand. As simple as that. Okay. Okay, so something just to show you, right? Right, CCR usually it's priced at 3,000, 3,500, and that is like most of it, right? RCR pricing at 2,500 to 3,000, right? Most of them, and for OCR price at 2,000 to 2,500. Okay, so just know that where you are is basically like somewhere in between here. Okay, for a CCR project. So getting in somewhere here and going to where the median is. Okay, right? And we know that many land, right, recently has sold for this kind of pricing, right? Right. This is Bayshore, right, 1388, and then Dunnan, right, bids going with 1410, okay, and then Chuan Grove going at 1376. Okay, so is it going to be cheaper in the future? I don't know. You decide. Okay, but this is the cost for the developers already, right? So the reason why we always say, when you have the chance to go in to a development, you really got to consider because throughout history, unless drastic things happen, we will always see the price increasing. It's just how fast and how much it's going to increase. Okay, so another thing to point out, right? Um, in terms of developments near to which MRT, right, and how much they have increased, right, you will see that those near to Great World MRT saw a 38% increase, right? While the rest of them, yes, there's increase, but slower, right? So if you take a look at this chart over here, right, this one is the Great World, okay, and it actually surpassed the other two, right, which is Somerset and Newton. Okay, so in history, in terms of history, we know that, right, Newton and Somerset has always been the pricier one, but now it has flipped. Right, Orchard is still there. Okay, it is still at the top of the chart. But of course, the growth is just slightly slower, lah. Oh, right. So something also that you want to take note, right? Within 1 kilometer to Great World MRT and within 500 meter to Great World also got difference. Okay, so within 500 meter, right, from 10 years ago, you see that the price is like almost doubled, right? For within 1 kilometer, okay, this is at 67%, which is still not too bad, right? Right, so something also for you to take note, right? That is something that you can do within the layout of your unit. Okay, so these are some of the proposed one. Okay, so this could be, a pantry and storage, right? One of the room could be an extended dining, right, plus living area. So your entire living space becomes like that. Okay, so instead of a 3 bedroom, it is now a 2 bedroom. Okay, but you have a bigger living space. Okay, so if we were to go to the extreme, we just keep the master bedroom. Okay, you can even make this a walk-in wardrobe. Okay, you can make this a dining, okay, plus your living, right? And then you have this study room over here. So somebody, young couple, so single, young couple, no kids, you can even, modify your interior to, as such, and still very livable. Okay. So this is up to individual plans. Okay, we are just showing you what are the possibilities that can be done. Okay. All right. So for 4 bedroom, right, some of the things that you can do is you can even take down one room, okay, and make it into a walk-in wardrobe. Okay, and then your door might be here. Okay, so this entire space will be the master bedroom area lah. Okay, so still very livable, right? You converted 4 room to a 3 bedroom, bigger in size, 2 common bedrooms, okay, and still you can have your kids or maybe your parents, right, to be staying with you. Okay, so something to compare with nearby developments lah. Okay, so for example, right, we take Rivergreen 2 bedroom, right, for a comparison, you will see that there is very little wastage of space. Also, The older projects, you know, like it's pre-harmonized. So even if it looks bigger, right, the actual usage of space can be very little, right? So for example, aircon ledge would already take up some, and in terms of how they plan the unit type, it would already take up some space versus something of like, you know, a dumbbell layout, for example. Okay, so something for you to take note. And if right the price is going at 1.75 million, right, you are essentially paying 580,000 lesser, right, without compromising livability, right? And next one would be the 2 plus study. Okay, so very similar, right? Better usage of space, right? Versus, you know, other developments, and you're probably paying, assuming, right, it's 1.92 million, you're essentially paying 430,000 lesser. Okay, 3 bedroom, right, if we were to compare to other uh, development, right, so you're essentially paying slightly lesser. Okay, another thing about this development is the sustainability, okay, from ground up, right? This is the first condo awarded with Green Mark Platinum, meaning it has got all 5 sustainability badges. Okay, so these are, you know, what they have attained, right? So in short, they are trying to make it green as much as possible and environmental friendly. Okay, so what does this mean, right? Green projects, it means easier to sell or rent in the future, right? Better reputation, better value, okay? Lower utility bills, okay? Kinder to the environment, okay? Healthier to live in, and built with long-term thinking. Okay, this is something unique compared to other rest of the development, right? So in terms of how well this project is going to do in the future, and let's just take a look at what nearby projects have done, right? And because of the demand, right, we look at Martin Modern, which TOP in 2021. Okay, this is a, you know, you look at the square feet, right, and then you look at how much is being sold and the profit. Okay, so the price being bought back then is about 1.7, 1.6. Okay, it goes all the way up to 2 mil. Okay, and there's a chance to profit this much. Okay, so just something for you to be aware of as well. Okay, so if you were to compare this very similar size, right, to Rivergreen's 3 bedroom, okay, well, yes, this is like back then in 2017, the price that they bought, okay, and in recent weeks, they have sold for this amount, okay, and they have profited, right? If you look at the entry price of certain, or just the 3 bedroom, right, it can go as low as 2.2, right, which is already cheaper than some of those. And if we were to take even the most expensive one, 2.5, it is just priced slightly above. The difference is very small. Okay, so one more thing, which is the strong rental demand. If you're looking at, you know, an investment over here. Okay, so as you can see, Great World MRT within 5 kilometer has always been the top of the chart. Okay, this green bar over here, and even up to 2025, right, it is still top of the chart compared to the rest of them, right, whether it's Newton, Orchard, or Somerset. Okay, the demand here is very, very strong. So for 1 bedroom, okay, we are looking at renting from 4,000 to 4,500. For 2 bedroom, okay, 5,200 to 5,007. 3 bedroom, 8,000 to 8,500. Okay, so in terms of what the resale market is doing right now, okay, for 1 bedroom, the resale is already going at 1.3 to 1.6. Okay, and over here, right, at Rivergreen, we're starting at 1.2. Okay, 2 bed, 1 bath, not so common, right? So we skip this, right? 2 bed, 2 bath, okay, most of them are going for 2.2 to 3 mil, right? This is going at 1.72, right? 3 bedroom, right? Most of them going at 3.1 to 4.8. This is going at 2.25. 4 bedroom, right? Most of them going at 4.6 to 8.5. This is at 2.8. Okay, again, right? Something I want to stress is the room size. Okay, right? So you also want to make use of what's happening around this area, right? And you want to enter early, exit smart. And the reason is very simple. Okay, we have developments, we have transformation nearby and upcoming. Okay, one of them would be Patterson area, right? Orchard area. Okay, and this is what's going to happen in near upcoming future, and this is already shared in the master plan, right? And because government is also trying to grow this area, and this is also in the master plan, and you will see that they're trying to rejuvenate downtown. They're trying to bring in the heritage and the culture, right? They are trying to make this area more lively lah, right? So basically, less commercial, more residential, more livability. Okay, and that's what the government is trying to do. So the uniqueness of this Rivergreen is that it is located in District 9, okay, surrounded by transformation but not under construction, right? So you get the quietness, the peacefulness around this area, okay? And upcoming transformation, basically you can see Patterson, right? Orchard Identity Corridor, right? Pearls Hill, right? Which is already ongoing, right? And then Thompson area, Newton area, Marina South area. Okay, this will be all the ongoing one, right? Okay, so I just want to end off with this, right, to summarize this project, Rivergreen, and this is basically those characteristics of a proven, right, profitable projects that has been ongoing already. So we look at these 8 things over here. Okay, so basically, right, so in terms of MRT, right, we know that it is really just beside. Okay, in terms of school, we have River Valley Primary, okay, which is very nearby over here. Okay, and then floor plan, okay, out of 10 points, I will deduct 1 point from there. Like I mentioned earlier on, the weird shape for balcony, I have to be strict lah over here. I have to be honest as well. I really don't like that odd shape balcony. Okay, it defeats the purpose of a proper squarish rectangle one. So I take 1 point, but the rest of the floor plan is actually very efficient, very productive, very livable, right? In terms of amenities, and because it's in River Valley, beside Great World, near to Orchard, you almost get everything that you can possibly get over here, right? Connectivity, not a problem, right? Whether it's with the MRT, whether it's using the bus, whether it's the road, not a problem, right? We get CTE over here, right? We get ECP over here if we were to go slightly further east, right? Transformation, I give a 7 point because the way I look at it, yes, there are transformation nearby this area, but not exactly around this area anymore. Okay, and the reason I say this is because usually when there's transformation around the development, okay, like really close, it will bring the price up and bring the value up even more. So yes, there are some close by ones, but in terms of this point system, I will give it a 7. Okay, rentability we've gone through. Because this is so close to CBD area, we will expect a lot more. We will expect a lot of expats, right, expatriates rental for this area. Okay, number of units, this is over 500, which is very good for the future, right? So overall, we get a 76 points over 80 points, which is about 95, which is quite high. Okay, so like mentioned earlier on, for this price point, for this location, I don't think you're going to find anywhere anymore, right? So if you compare to recent projects around this area, yes, Quantum, they are a lot more, right? Rivergreen is something special, right? You know your budget, you know you can get in, and this is, a place for you, right? So this is all I have for you in this video, and please help me if you like this, if you this, if you know that your friend will be benefited from watching this video, do share this with them. Okay, so I will see you in my future videos. Please take care. All right, see you, take care, bye bye.